Hey there, Kingdom Dream Chasers. So, we're just going to have a little chat this evening about something that I think is a really important topic because this is not going to go away. The topic is, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? How do I know if I need one or the other, or not both, or neither? And what does it look like to work with someone? So, there's lots of different aspects of this. So we're just going to start. We're also, that's the kind of the first part, the difference between coaching and therapy. And then we're going to migrate into, if you choose coaching, what's the difference between a group coaching program and a one on one or more private coaching program, or a hybrid? So we're going to be talking about that today. And I think for, in the online space, if you have a business, at some point you're probably going to want to hire a coach, and we're going to talk about why and what that looks like. So, the first thing, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? So, pretty simply, um, therapy, when you hire a therapist, which I think is a luxury and a blessing to be able to do. I have hired therapists over my. I'm 58, and so there's been numerous times in my life when I've gone to a therapist, and a therapist helps you to do. They're typically they're professional. They have degrees, designations, and they've gone to school, training, psychology. Some have different levels of master's, doctorate, things like that. Typically, master's level minimum, usually for a therapist. And most therapists, if you want to get referrals, you want to be highly referred to someone, and usually they've got quite a bit of an experience. Many therapists also, like coaches, they niche. They might be a recovery, for people in recovery, a therapist. They might be trauma therapist. They might be marriage, parenting, right? So, you know, when you find yourself in an area of need, it's nice to kind of go to someone who's really experienced in that area. So, but the key thing here is with therapy, you're typically going back into your past. You're trying to figure out why you've got some deep hurts, some deep wounds, and they're showing up in your daily life. All right. Or you wouldn't be seeking out the therapist. Okay. Because something is amiss. All right. And in a primary relationship, or at your job, or high levels of anxiety, something's going on, and a therapist is going to help you go back in your past and figure out what happened, what is triggering you today. All right. So I know I'm oversimplifying, but that's just a high level of a therapist. Now a coach is someone who doesn't go back. A coach helps you move forward. Now, don't hear what I didn't say. Is a therapist going to often help you move forward? They do, but their methodology is different. They typically go to the past in order to help you move forward. It's typically mental health related. It could be anxiety. It could be, trauma. Um, Major conflict. In a marriage or something. Deep hurts, resentments, lack of forgiveness, and really starting to show up in ways that you're like, I need to go talk to someone about this. Okay. Whereas a coach, you may feel stuck in a certain area of your life, but you want to move forward. It is your deep desire to really move forward. You are not in really a place of trauma. You are not in a place of struggling. That you may be struggling, but it's not the kind of struggle that is a mental health crisis or issue. It's something where, look, I just need someone to help me figure this out so I can move forward. A coach usually has been through and what you're going through, and has gone ahead of you, and has an outcome that they've experienced that you want. So whatever that coach's outcome is, maybe it's a coach who helps you with speaking on stages, and they've gotten really successful on how to help people speak on stages well and successfully, right? So maybe it's a coach who helps people write a book and write it really in 30 days. Wow, if you want to write a book and you could find a coach who could help you write it in 30 days, save you massive amounts of time, and help you. So it's someone who it can help you move forward, usually in a pretty specific area. Now, there are life coaches, which is, a more general thing, um, kind of anywhere in your life. But I'd say the coaches that are having the most success are saying, look, this is where I was. and this is where I am now, and I want to help other women get there, right? And so, what if it's a health coach? She's usually not real broad. She might be, look, I help people fix their thyroid. Doesn't mean she can't help other things, but she's specializing in that. I help women lose weight without any supplements, without any external anythings. I just help you lose weight by learning how you what to put in your body that gives you energy, that makes you feel great, so you stop feeling bloated and lethargic and overwhelmed and rashy and whatever. So there are health coaches that do that. So helping you move forward. So we've got coaching on the one hand, right? Specific, someone's already been there. That coach is going to help you be able to move forward. Really, a coach, her experience is really her master's or doctorate, right? Because she's lived it, she's done it, and she's helping others. And she's helping others successfully to do what she's done. So, versus a therapist, doesn't have to have been through what you went through, but they understand the cycle of pain and trauma and triggers and wounds and how to walk through that. They know how to clinically help you in a healthy, careful way walk through that. So, for example, I would always talk to when I'm working with women who are becoming coaches. I'm like, look, don't try to be a therapist. If someone's in trauma, they need to go to a therapist. Refer them out to a therapist. Um, so that's one way to really know, am I really looking for a coach who's going to help me? Do I really want to move forward? Or am I really like, I'm in some emotional, deep pain? You're going to need a therapist. And here's the good news, there are so many incredible people on this planet who are trained and called and long to serve. All right. So it's worth every red cent of that investment. Even my husband, the other day, years ago, we went to this therapist and was recently talking to someone about that same recommending the person. And my husband's like, "You know what? Yeah, it just he created a space for us to come together as a husband and wife, not go storming off, wounded and hurt and offended, but forced to talk like mature adults." And it was just really profound, the space that he created for us. And it helped us to leap over and heal a lot of things. So highly recommend both therapy and coaching. It's just knowing what you need when you need it and being honest about that. And knowing that you are worth it. You are so worth the investment because whichever you choose, that investment of your time and your money and that healing that you're going to get, whether it's the coach or the therapist, it's going to affect everyone around you. This is legacy stuff. All right, you're going to be impacted. And if you are a Christian, which most of you probably are if you're listening to me, I highly do recommend that you find someone, whether it's a therapist or a coach, that shares your faith background, your faith traditions, your faith beliefs, because when you walk in there, you want to be able to feel free to say, okay, I prayed about that. I heard from the Holy Spirit on this and get that confirmation from the therapist. The therapist might say, I'm feeling, could I pray with you right now about that? I'm feeling a little bit from the Holy Spirit on this. May I share that with you? So it's just an added powerful connection. All right. So now let's move into, how do I know, Gail, what if I want a coach? How do I know what kind of coach? How do I create trust? Because if you haven't figured it out, in the online space, in the world today, all right, as humanity, we are in a trust recession. What does that mean? That means that I heard this amazing coach, Kelly Roach, talking about this, and I don't know where she got it, but so let's just say it's from her. Beautiful. But she was talking about, a number of years ago in the online place when courses and coaches and ads started coming on your feed. It was like, ooh, everything felt new. Oh, someone can help me with social media. Ooh, someone can help me with speaking. Ooh, someone can help me with marketing. Ooh, someone can help me grow my business to this, right? Well, now we're all saturated, right, with a lot of opportunity. And the good news is, people are hungry for learning and growing. And how do I implement? Give me a strategy, give me a system, right? Help me out, help me collapse time. What does a coach do or a course do? It helps you learn from someone else from their experience so that you don't have to walk walk through as much pain and struggle as they did. That's the goal, right? So, however, people are like, well, whoa, I have invested, or I did that course, I didn't finish it. I don't trust myself anymore. I don't trust the coach because she said she was going to do this and didn't deliver that. So we're in a, or um, I tried this product and it didn't work. All right. So we're in a trust recession. So what do you do about that? You show up authentically you with value. Every post that you do, have it be something of value. It doesn't matter if it's funny. It doesn't matter if it's health related. It doesn't matter if it's business related, if it's faith related. Let it be of value. So you're showing up, in other words, as a giver rather than a taker or asker. All right. So I've been really guilty of this over the years because that's how I was trained was to get ask, promote a product. If you promote a product, you're asking for someone to buy, to be interested, right? So show up with value so that people can build the trust in you can go up. Then at that level, that's when they're going to be interested in what you have to offer. All right. They're not interested down here at this level because this is the trust recession. They've got the wall up. And they're like, net, net, net. But as you continue to post with value, post with value, post with value, now they're going to be interested. Okay. So if you want to hire a coach, how do you decide? Do I want a group program, Gail, or do I want a one on one program? I have people ask about this a lot. And I find, and I actually do like I always have a little application before anyone comes into my programs. And I'm asking them, like my 12-month program, and I'll say, how do you work best? Do you work best one on one? Do you work best in a group? Because here's the truth I have learned as a coach to love group coaching. Why? Because there's something amazing that happens in the group. Um, when you have a community of women and you create a culture, an intimate culture of women who show up regularly. We have our call at Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. I have women, it's 5 o'clock in the morning their time, 7 o'clock in the morning their time, 8 o'clock in the morning their time. They are there. Why? Because they are committed, number one. Two, they don't want to miss it. Three, they want to be a part of the community. They're connected to each of those women. They want to hear those women share their wins, get coaching, get breakthrough. They want to be a part of it. They don't want to miss it. They highly value it because it impacts their life, their business. So, a group, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about what happens in the group. There's powerful things. You literally can get breakthrough off of someone else's breakthrough. Someone says something, and it can just feel like a Jesus hug sometimes. Like, oh my gosh, Lord, that is exactly what I needed, and it wasn't even you asking the question. So, group is powerful. Um, you get to hear from a variety of people, which um, you get to, like I said, the breakthrough. There is you've heard the phrase a master join a mastermind. Well, the group becomes a mastermind. What does that mean? It means that when you're all together, all of your thoughts, all of your breakthroughs, all of your questions, and your shares, you're elevating your thought and your level of understanding. So it's a higher mind, right? Especially when we're kingdom women and we're bringing the Holy Spirit, God and Jesus, into every session. Now we really are looking at the master, creating our mastermind together collectively because our hearts are set on him and what he's called us to do and help each other to chase those dreams and run after that race. So, and it is incredible friendships and support and inspiration. There's nothing like watching someone else come in and watching their life transform. It gives you hope and encouragement, and you're a part of it. And you also realize that can happen to me. I'm on my way too. Um, all right, now, um, what about one on one? Well, okay, so I gave you a lot of pros for the group. What are the pros for one on one coaching? Well, in one on one coaching, it's just you and the coach, right? So it's very intimate. Um, there you get to spend the whole time. You usually go through a process of okay, what's going on? Let's discover. Let's talk about that. Um, where are the kinks? Now let's start. Okay, we discovered that. Now we start moving into what are some action steps that we can start looking at. How does, let's go back and forth. And then we start moving into, okay, what would that look like? How would it affect your life? All right. And then, okay. So you're moving through a process, all right, through an hour together. But it's strictly focused on you. Now, The pros of that are, well, you're not sharing the time with anyone, right? You get to be all in with that coach. You get to hear the whole time. The feedback is on you, on what you need to, how you need to grow, what you need, or you're going through, what's important to you, right? You're setting the agenda. Um, so for those who want to get things done faster and are highly, highly motivated, sometimes a one on one coach is a great option. Especially if you have a very specific goal in mind, like, look, I want to get this done. I need to get this done. I need the accountability. I need the coaching. I need the strategy. I want to get it done. All right. So that can be a great reason to have one on one. Now, some of the downsides, you don't get to hear all those things in the group, right? You don't get to hear the other breakthroughs. Sometimes they're asking questions that you don't even know you need to ask. They're saying things that you didn't even know you needed to hear. So in community, we heal. In community, things happen that are really powerful. However, right, there's pros and cons. And so now, how do I coach someone as to how to make the choice? Well, what we usually, when they tell me that in their life experience, they typically like to work one on one and they don't like to be in a group. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So if you're someone who maybe has had some past group experiences that didn't go well, or you just don't, something's going on with you that you don't think the group would be right. We talk about that. Sometimes with my coaches that I hire, sometimes it's my pride. I feel like if I just have the coach all to myself, that my business is going to somehow grow faster. Not always true, but because sometimes I missed the group. I missed hearing something in the group that really would have helped my experience because I've heard things in the group that have really helped accelerate my business at times. But if that person is really feeling almost triggered by the thought of being in the group, and I have a client recently who, when we all go around and share, my clients all go around, I can feel her anxiousness. And so we've been doing a little bit of more one-on-one. She's still in the group, but we've been doing a little bit more one-on-one. And that is something that I do a lot of. I do a hybrid because I want my clients to have the experience of the community, the power of the community, what the Holy Spirit does in the community. But I also want my clients to get some of that one on one when they need it. So it's a little bit shorter sessions, but they get that one on one. They feel like they've got that real personal time, and they're getting what they need met. So, lastly, there's times when a one on one situation might be your first choice for you. Another person, the group might be the first choice. And then it might flip. You're going to go through a different season of life, a different area of your business. And now you're going to say, now I want the other. Okay. So usually, if you come into one, the group or the one on one, you usually find at some point that you'll want that other experience. If you're in the group, you tend to think, okay, I want to try this one on one, or vice versa. Or you may be the person who's like, I found my place. I'm a group girl. I love it. I don't need the one-on-one, right? So I hope this was really helpful. The biggest, the ending thing is, if I've invested, I started to make a list of all the coaches I've invested in over the past probably 6 years. And it was blowing me away. A couple men, but primarily women that I've invested in for very different reasons. One was it was about rewriting your money story some years ago. Another was, rewiring your nervous system so that you could become the leader that God called you to and experience so much more joy in your business. Another was about sales specifically and tracking and metrics and numbers, which I was always like, meh. Another was around social media and AI and content. Another was around systems. But every one of them I hired for a different reason because they had gone before me and they could help me get where I wanted to go because they were already there or had already passed that place. So, yeah, I pray this has been a blessing to you and, do your due diligence, kick the tires. That's why I love doing taste and see events every month because it's an opportunity for those who don't know me to come in and experience how I work, how I operate, how I coach. And when we do the backstages, especially like in the masterclass or a challenge. And it just gives you an opportunity to say, ah, this is what I'm looking for, right? Or no, this is not what I'm looking for. So then you get to go keep looking, right? Find what you're looking for. But I'll end with this: making investments in the call that God has put on my life, my business. I was called by God to become a kingdom business coach for women, and making that investment again and again and again and again has borne so much fruit. It has grown my trust in the Lord. It has grown my faith. It has grown my skills. It has grown my sense of knowing that I'm equipped. And so I can't, I will never tell you that coaching's good and I not hire coaches. I have a coach right now, and whenever that coaching arrangement ends, I'm going to be looking for who God is guiding to me to next. All right, because I always, if I'm going to be a coach, I'm going to be coached, right? I want to be of integrity with that. And it's just a joy. It's a joy to have someone in your corner working with you, believing in you, helping you see what you can't see. And it's a blessing. So, pray this was a wonderful little bit different, but I would love to hear your feedback. Tell me what you learned about coaching and therapy. Tell me, have you ever hired a coach? How did it go? So drop in the comments, what did you learn about one-on-one versus group? Maybe you're a hybrid person. So drop in the comments. And if you ever, of course, have any questions or you're trying to make a decision and you just need someone to, you know, banter about a situation with, just send me a message. All right. All right, guys. Have a beautiful rest of whatever part of your day you're in. Enjoy it.